I'm John Darcy. I'm the owner of Darcy Saw. I've been manufacturing bandsaw parts for 30 years. It's a unique company. We're totally innovative. Our quality keeps improving. I'd like to show you the parts we make. It's rather detailed, but after you see this presentation, you'll be very interested in doing business with our company. 32 years ago, I bought a Marvel bandsaw, and the lower wheel was shot. So I ordered the new lower wheel from the dealer, and I just happened to get a defective wheel, so that's what started it. I went out and bought an old turret lathe, an old gear machine, and the first band wheels I made really weren't that good, but I've learned during my life that I'm a perfectionist, and we kept upgrading these parts over a 30-year period. So that's why I've been successful, because I've been recognized as someone who has the highest quality parts available. That's all I do here, is I create the quality. I don't answer the phone, I don't ship the parts, I don't do the books. I don't want to do any of that kind of work. I just love creating quality. So, my father had a company, and I worked there part of my life. It was a manufacturing company, Windsor Manufacturing. And I started going in there when I was 12 years old. So I became a machinist when I was a kid. A machinist and a welder. I learned EDM, ECM, grinding, computer milling. I know all about machining, everything, basically. ID, grinding. So I know about castings now. I know what ductile iron is. Most of these parts you see are ductile iron, which is cast iron, but it's a different material. It casts the same as cast iron, but it has the mechanical properties of steel, but it has the wear characteristics of cast iron. So primarily we use air-hardened ductile iron. It's just a real high-quality casting. Before me here I have a part for a Marvel 8 Mark 1 and 2. It's a drive spline sleeve, and this is the drive spline. It looks like an ordinary part, but you can see it says extreme duty on the part. What this means, this part works so well and lasts so long that we classify it as an extreme duty part. What makes it extreme duty? The sleeve it's pressed into the end. The shaft is manufactured out of shafting material. Then we make the spline out of alloy steel, do the gear work, turn the OD concentric to the gear work. This has always been a problem with this part. Then we take the part and press it and Loctite into the end. This will last 2, 3, or 4 times as long as a standard part. And this is the mating part here, the spline itself. This is pretty much a standard design, but it's black oxided. This is the 8-1135 gear that drives the chip brush assembly in an 8 Mark 1. This was the standard design originally. We offer it in steel, nobody else does. This is an extreme duty part. This is more of a standard part. This part will last 2 or 3 times longer than the standard part. It's something we offer that no one else does. This is the 8-48-A-R, extreme duty ratchet nut handle and screw assembly. This is our extreme duty version. This is more of the standard design. This is a better product because it's a one-piece part, all poured out of ductile iron, air-hardened ductile iron. The standard part tends to break because it's pinned in, and a lot of guys use a hammer on it. Eventually the pin breaks. So this is a far superior product. It's another extreme duty part. It goes into the ratchet nut. You're probably familiar with this part. This goes on all the 8 Mark 1s, Mark 2s, and the old number 8s. We also offer the handle separate because some people want the handle. Our handles are made out of stainless steel. As you can see right here, it says stainless steel. A stainless steel handle will last far longer than a standard handle. Not only do we make extreme duty parts with unusually high quality, we also have innovative parts. These are vices for the number 8, 8 Mark 1, and 8 Mark 2. They're designed specifically for mitering. You can see the angles here that you can create. So with these two vices from Darcy Saw, you can cut compound angles on your number 8 series bandsaw. I'm going to loosen this bolt here. These are the angles you can create. You can go up to 50 degrees. Front set, back set. This is made out of ductile iron, air-hardened ductile iron. And all this machining done, all these angles are done on a CNC machine. I'm a creative person, so I stepped forward and created these vices. And they're very popular. A lot of customers don't know they exist, but here they are. Another vice that we offer for the number 8, the 8 Mark 1, the 8 Mark 2 is the Darcy vice. It's very heavy duty. It's manufactured out of air-hardened ductile iron. It's tough. It's thicker and all the webs. And on the bottom, it's relieved. This is our own design. So as you slide the vise back and forth, chips generally get caught in these areas here. But with this relief section, the vise slides back and forth nice and easy. It works and it'll last 2 to 3 times longer than the standard product. It's extreme duty. This is the 8-1183 variable speed pulley for the Marvel 8 Mark 1. Somehow these plastic handles tend to break. So instead of making the replacements out of plastic, we make them out of aluminum. They never break. And the OD is knurled, so it's easy to turn. Aluminum is better than plastic. Another part we make out of aluminum is this cover. The 8-1138. Originally made out of thin plastic, they break. This is extreme duty. It'll never break. It'll last you forever. This is the 8-1142 knob for the Marvel 8 Mark 1 and 2. They're located at this top to loosen up the guide arm to slide up and down. You would think they wouldn't break, but we get calls for these all the time. I went into a steel house that has some of these saws, and I saw a guy using a hammer on it. So I know why they break. So we offered it in stainless steel here. It'll never break. You can beat it with a hammer, you can slam it on the floor. This is extreme duty. It'll probably never break ever. This costs approximately 20% more. If you divide that cost over the period of the life of the part, it's far more economical to have a stainless steel part than a plastic part. We don't like plastic at Darcy Saw. This is the 8-48-R ratchet nut assembly. This is the standard part. This is the extreme duty version. What's the difference? This has one key, a heat-treated key, and this has 2 heat-treated keys. Believe it or not, we sell more of these than more of these because these last longer. These parts take a beating, and the Darcy part will stand up. This is extreme duty quality. We've been talking about metal parts, now we'll talk about belts. We make the best belts in the industry. This is the 8-1172 feed belt. The original parts were made out of PVC. This is a true rubber belt. It's a ply design, blue and black. The black is for traction, the blue is for strength. These will not slip. They go on tight. You can't break them. This is an extreme duty belt. Goes to number 8, the 8 Mark I, and the 8 Mark II. There are more of these belts on the Marvel saws than from my competitors. This is another belt, another extreme duty belt for the Marvel low number 8. It's another ply design, 2 layers. One's for the inside, one's for the outside. These are approximately 30% thicker. Extreme duty, it'll last longer. We're always working hard to improve the quality of our parts. This is the latest 8-1027 pinion. This is the one prior to it. We've improved it. Originally, the factory didn't grind these surfaces, but we do. So we improved by grinding all 3 surfaces in a black oxide finish. It's all about tolerances. Grinding is always the precision way to create an OD. It's a Cadillac of, doing OD dimensions. Well, these are the feed gears for the Marvel number 8, 8 Mark I, 8 Mark II. Well, the original part was made out of bronze. We used to manufacture these in bronze, but they didn't hold up. So then we moved into steel, and eventually into alloy steel. This is better than the original manufacturer's part, but they also offer an extreme duty. This is more alloy steel, but it's heat treated. As you all know, a heat treated gear lasts far longer than a standard gear. We also offer the worm, the 8-171, that mates to this, like this. It also mates to this. We also offer this in extreme duty. It's heat treated. It'll last 2 or 3 times as long. You can run a standard duty with an extreme duty, or you can run extreme duty and extreme duty. We prefer you buy them both because 2 heat-treated gears work better than heat-treated against standard. But either way, it's going to work well, better than factory. You can offer this in a standard and run this against the extreme duty. Either way, you're ahead of the game. The parts cost actually less than factory, but they'll last 2 or 3 times as long. This is another Darcy part. It's extreme duty. It's the pinion shaft to a Marvel number 8. This is our design. The shafting is made out of 1045 ground and polished material. It's machined. Then the gear section is made separate out of alloy material, and it's heat treated. The shaft is pressed into the gear, thousandths press fit, and it's heliarc welded at the end. It won't come apart. This part is extreme duty and it'll last longer. More often than not, it's worth putting a high quality part into your saw. You do it once with the right part and the job's done, and you cut your steel. This is the chip brush housing to a Marvel 15A. We've improved it. We went from single bearings on the axle to 2 bearings. 2 bearings work better. This presses into the hole. Now on the standard part, the bearing just pressed into the hole and it could fall out. And so, a lot of times it did. But this is secured with 3 extra bolts. Another extreme duty design, it'll last longer. These are the roller guides to the Marvell Old number 8. They never did last that long, and they kept having to be replaced. So, over the years we've improved the product. These are extreme duty. These are for the 1-inch blade. We offer them for 1 inch. These are for 3/4 inch blade. Now, we build these with triple bearing. 3 bearings secured with a bolt, not with a snap ring, but with a bolt. It's all a press fit. The rear bearing is sealed. The shell is made out of 50 to 100 bearing material. It's heat treated to 68 Rockwell, then it's finished machine. It's made out of solid steel. The standard part had plastic in the front. The water and coolant can go through the plastic. That's the cheap way to make these parts. This is the right way to make these parts. These will last 2 to 3 times longer. These rollers dominate the market. They cost less and they last longer. They're extreme duty. We addressed the issue and we were successful. This is the 8-1029 and 8-230 bearing. It's our own bearing manufactured to our specifications. It fits all the number 8s, 8 Mark I, 8 Mark II, and even the 8 Mark IIIs. This is a Darcy part. You can see here it says Darcy saw. This is manufactured in the United States by high quality bearing company to our specifications. This bearing will last longer. I put my name on it. This is the 8-1728-R spring-loaded chip brush for the Marvel 8 Mark II. This is the latest upgrade in quality. As you can see the difference between the black and the red. This was a cold pour urethane. This was a high injection heat molded rubber. This will last longer. The standard part has a filament brush, which is better than steel. We're the only company that uses filament brush design. Extreme duty. The members are powder coated. They're not plain steel. This is the roller assembly. You can see the precision finish. And also, we're the only company that makes these with triple bearings. This will last longer. It'll work better. Your blades will be cleaner. Your saw will run better. Extreme duty. This is the 8-1152 coolant valve. Today's coolants are water-based. Water corrodes conventional steel, so we made these valves out of stainless steel. These valves will last 2 or 3 times as long. These are the 81 BDR 4 and 5 blade guides for Marvel 81. These are your self-adjusting guides. The standard guides originally had 2 holes here and 1 here. We kept this original design, we added an eccentric. So when you bolt this down, you can use the eccentric adjuster to move the guide in and out to where you want it to be. Also, as the guides were, you can set the eccentric. It gives you more life, higher performance. Comes with a wrench and a description of how to use them. People love these guides. They're extreme duty. This is the 8-903 pressure block. This is a Darcy part. For the Marvell 8 Mark I and 8 Mark II. The difference between our part and standard part, the standard part, we make it out of solid carbide. The original design was carbide on the front face, brazed to steel. But with it being solid carbide, they last 2 or 3 times as long. This is an extreme duty part. This is a ratchet nut to the Marvel 81. It's an 81-ABR3. You can see the key is different than in the standard and original design. The original design had 1 bolt. The Darcy part has 2 bolts. Over time, this has always been a problem of the 2 pieces trying to stay as one. It comes loose in the joint and they crack off here. So this is our idea and it works well. It's been in the field for approximately 15 years. This is the end cap that goes on the end of the 81-ABR3. We've added an extra seal in here. Our part has 2 seals. 2 seals work better than 1. These are 8-1202 lower bandwheel shafts for the number 8, the 8 Mark I, but not the 8 Mark II. The original design isn't here. It was an elliptic end. Then Marvel transferred into a straight shaft. Now we used that idea and we put knobs on here, machined them off. We didn't like the quality, so we evolved it into this part here, which has the same effect as the elliptic, but it still retains the 2 lobes to keep the part centralized in the housing. Then we offered this 8-1202E, which is an easy adjust axle kit. This is a kit here. There's always been a problem for the customers trying to create the gear clearance on the gears. So with this system here, the set screw comes in from one end here and the other end here. You tap out the bottom with a tap that's in here. Then you can adjust your camber with these 2 set screws. It also locks the shaft in for moving in and out. This design uses a pin, but this allows you infinite adjustment, and you can move the axle in and out with these nuts. This is the preferred setup for most of the machine builders in the United States. They like this because they can get in and out and get the job done quickly and efficiently. These 2 shafts require shimming. A lot of people still use this, but this is the better way. This is a Darcy product. We're the only one that makes this design, and it works well. That's the kit. The wrenches are in there, the nuts, the spacer, the Allen wrenches, and the set screws. This is the main shaft to a Marvel.
Why don't you start that over?
This is the main shaft of Marvel 15A. It's basically the same part, but it's made out of air-hardened ductile iron, but it can be cast easily like cast iron. It's an expensive material, but when you put this part in your saw, it's going to last approximately 20 to 30 years. It's high quality. It's extreme duty. This is the 8-1290 coolant pump. This is for the Marvels 8 Mark I, 8 Mark II. This is another pump for the Marvel 15A. This is a Darcy product. We build these here. We order the motors to our specification. They're slightly larger in diameter. They're a more efficient electric motor. It's a new evolution of electric motors. Has a cast iron base. We increase the thickness of the bottom plate. We powder coat the bottom plate. It has a more heavy duty seal in the motor. And the impeller here, we use a metal impeller. The original was plastic. Metal lasts longer than plastic. Also, these castings for the pump, there's a male and a female. They're made out of ear-hardened ductile iron. They'll last longer. This is an extreme duty product. It's evolved over a 15-year period. It'll last longer, approximately 2 times as long. Now the 15A pump has the same motor as the 1290 pump. Has the same stem, but a different base. It has the same thicker base, epoxy coated. This will also last longer than factory. Both of these are extreme duty. Now we've moved ahead with the impeller design here. We've gone from plastic to metal. Now we're working our way into stainless steel so it doesn't corrode. And our next step here is to incorporate stainless steel into this pump. We keep increasing our quality, making it better and better. We also can keep the cost down because we're a small company and we run an efficient company. But we keep making it better and better.
Okay.
This is the 8-27D lower guide holder for the Marvel number 8. The roller guide's going here. These are the adjusting screws. You're probably familiar with these if you have a Marvel. Standard parts were steel. We used to make them out of steel. We've upgraded to stainless steel. We've kept the price the same. It's extreme duty. They'll probably last the life of the machine. This is the clamp that goes in here, like that. We've been making them out of stainless steel for a long time. They don't break. High quality. These are Darcy parts. You have a Marvel 81. These are the rollers for the carriage on the left side looking at it from the front. These are the V style. This is a Darcy part. I engineered it and I designed it. The axle's made out of a shafting material. The roller is made out of 52-100 bearing material. Heat treated to 68 Rockwell. Then it's finished machined. The difference is we press these bearings in here. The bearings were manufactured separate and pressed into the rollers. Then the rollers are slid on here, and then we turn down the bolt and compress the inner races together and create a zero clearance part. It's smooth. There's no play in there. The original factory parts had no seals in them. Once the parts wore out, you had to throw them away. If these wore out, you can replace the bearings. These are extreme duty to last a lot longer. They're preferred by the machine builders, machinery builders. The V-style and the flats on the other side are the same design. They have the separate ball bearings with the seals. Thank you for looking at our parts today. Hope I explained it to you very well. I look forward to doing business with you. These have 2 catalogs that we have here. This is the small one for the number 8, the 8 Mark 1 and 8 Mark 2. They're excellent catalogs. Every part's in here with all the numbers. This is our large catalog. This is an extensive amount of work over a 30-year period. Another excellent viewing of parts, very descriptive. You can look on our website at darcysaw.com. You can email us at bob@darcysaw.com. Thank you very much.